Hey everybody, welcome back to Eat and Talk. This is Euster again, and today I am joined by two very amazing gentlemen. Really excited for this food for thought episode here today because we are going to get into some food discussions. I've got George and Darian here. Go ahead, and there's no better person to introduce you than you guys, so we'll start with you, George.
Yeah,
Chef George. Let me put some respect on your name.
Right.
Thank you, appreciate that. I'm Chef George, owner and creator of RRARE EATS.
Yeah, Darian Fletcher, business partner. So we're longtime childhood friends. Yeah. I got a marketing business too, so kind of help with him on that side, and got a real estate business, a couple things outside of that. So yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. Well, it sounds like complements you perfectly for your business.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because when you're a chef, you focus on the food, but there's so much to like expanding the business, and who better than to do it than your friend?
Oh, it's perfect. It really, honestly, like, it's crazy how we kind of over the years we've talked about going into business and doing certain things, and now we found a lane, and it's just perfect to have someone that's your best friend to be, taking a role and helping you out with the business.
And I just love in general, like, Black men like showcasing friendship and love. Like, we don't see that enough. It's there, but it's not showcased enough. So that's really amazing. Okay, let's get started. Chef George, tell us about yourself. Like, where you been at? Like, you're a chef. First of all, what do you make? That's the first question that people do. Like, what is your expertise?
So my expertise for RRARE EATS right now is, I like to say, East African cuisine. We try to do a fast take of it. So it's, you get your traditional dishes, a lot of vegetable dishes. We serve in bowls. We have a braised brisket sandwich that we have. We do a fried chicken wings with teff flour and bitter seasonings. And then we do a fried mushroom. It's kind of just like a appetizer take of just fried mushroom with the same teff batter with the seasonings. And
that's my stomach. I'm like, oh, that sounds so good.
And the menu's forever evolving with the seasons, and just, over time we're going to be trying to switch and make things right. So it's going to take some time.
So you mentioned RRARE EATS, and that's the name of your brand.
Right.
Okay. How did you come up with that name?
Yeah. So RRARE EATS came about, the name, I go back and I think about my family and my friends and how unique they are. I have a variety of different ethnicities of friends, and my initial thought was this is going to be different for people. This isn't your normal food that you get, and so it just stood out to me that RRARE EATS, just kind of a quick kind of RRARE EATS. Mm-hmm. This is what it's going to be. So. It
is kind of rare in a concept of like you put your own twist on it, and you're making. So I kind of also want to know, like, why Ethiopian food?
Right. So that's a great question. I feel like for me, the thing that I always go back to is, what do I love? And when I go to other cities, what do I look for immediately? Mm-hmm. Like, what do I have the taste for? And and it always goes back to Ethiopian food. Mm-hmm. When I think about my grandmother and the dishes that she would prepare, it was like always tomato, onion based things. Mm-hmm. And with a lot of the food that I make, I use a lot of tomato and onions. And that's usually with a lot of Ethiopian traditional stews. There's a lot of tomato, there's a lot of onion, tomatoes and seasonings, mm-hmm. and spices, I should say.
Yeah.
So it for me, it just always hits home. Mm-hmm. Whenever I come home from a vacation or going to visit my family, I try to come home and get some or make some Ethiopian food. Mm-hmm. And my one of my ex friends, she would always, bring food over, or and I would always ask her too, like, hey, like, what's your mom making at home? Like, mm-hmm. let me get some recipes, because Ethiopian food is like definitely one of my favorite cuisines. So
ooh, yeah, same here. I love Ethiopian food.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so like, when did you get started? Like, when did you discover, like, hey, I love cooking and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah. So I didn't expect for cooking to be my job, or I didn't expect to be doing this long term. Mm-hmm. It kind of stumbled upon my life. I was an athlete growing up as a kid, and from an athlete I turned into a musician and an artist, and then from that it was kind of standstill in that moment, so I needed another creative outlet, and cooking became that. I started off, in the dish pit, and I needed extra money, and so I looked into getting a quick job when I was a young kid, and started off in the dish pit, and I, was looking over at the chefs and the cooks, and I saw that it was kind of competitive, and that stood out to me because I have a competitive spirit, and so I wanted to test the waters and see, like, okay, can I get into this? So I did. And I started helping a friend out with pop-ups, and I started to pick up really, really quickly. And it was like, okay, this is a lane. This is something that you can kind of go far with. And over the time, I picked up, and it became a passion. And it's been paying my bills pretty well and just getting me along. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. That's amazing. Darian, watching your friend cook, what's something, and, you're on the marketing side, and, you're part of this amazing journey for RRARE EATS. What's something that you've learned or taken away from, joining him on this journey?
The best part is being the taste tester. Yeah. I'll start with that, like being able to sample that. But
I would too, yeah.
100%. But I love like starting businesses with friends, I'd say too, right? Like brothers, actually. I'll start like that. Right. And seeing him, how passionate he is. You see how he's talking about it. For me, like, I love tasting it. I don't understand that everything that goes into it. Yeah. So really just seeing him have a goal like that, chase his dreams, and help however I can. So I'll give you an example. I was at a farmer's market like a month ago. Was that right?
I think it was about a month ago.
I was at a farmer's market in Minneapolis. I'm blanking on the name of it. He'll probably be able to fill it in. But I saw like the vibe and what they had going on. And I was just kind of looking around. And again, I own a couple businesses. So I'm looking, I'm like, man, RRARE EATS needs to be here. Like they're missing it.
The Linden Hills co-op.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And it's a great farmer's market. So don't get me wrong, right? Linden Hills, you guys are watching this. But I just noticed like he would do very well there, right? So reached out to the person who was coordinated, and literally a week later, like, we're about to get him in there. So just taking action, moving fast, but most importantly, like partnering together, having something we're building that we could pass down as well. That's why, like, it's fun to be a part of, for sure.
Everything. Yeah. That's extremely important to me too, is like, this is a business that I want to create opportunity for the community. And, I want to inspire kids and people that look like me to, be an entrepreneur, move with intention, and have goals and set goals, and whatever industry you're in, make sure you're moving with intention and you're writing your goals down, and you're trying to, make a move and do something that's going to take yourself to the next level. Don't just, be doing things within a uncomfortable environment and, being at a standstill. Try to take yourself up and leverage yourself as often as you can, and reassess what you got going on, and just keep it moving. But you got to keep going. Sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. So speaking about that, what are some obstacles that you feel like you face, especially, Black men, the first thing that they think of, like, cooking is really not something that becomes like a career for them. And so I know it's not always the easiest path to take. So are there any obstacles that you've come across, growing up or throughout, like, your path?
Absolutely. Many obstacles. I think as a Black chef in general, in predominantly white industry in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, sometimes you get your confidence or mistaken as arrogance. And too many times, they wish that you just kind of, tuck your tail, and you're not as passionate, or you don't move with integrity. But never do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Never. Always move with confidence. And like I said, have a plan. When you're with every experience, you can learn from every experience. So as a chef, I think it's important, or even as a line cook, wherever you start, you have to set goals, and you have to understand where you want to go and make up your mind. I think that was something for me that I'm blessed that I made my mind up pretty fast, that I knew that I was looking to, be a business owner one day. And I think making my mind up with every opportunity that I landed, even when, there was adversity, or I thought I thought I had the opportunity of my life, or whatever it is, you have to have a plan, and you have to be figuring out, like, okay, if this doesn't work, what do I do? How do I maneuver through the adversity? And so keep a plan, and just keep at it. Yeah. Try to be your best self. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so right now, currently, like, what are you doing, and like how do people find RRARE EATS? Right. Where can we find you? How can people book you?
Right. So right now, I'm currently a chef in South Minneapolis, and we specialize in Italian and French food. But outside of that, I'm going to be doing pop-ups all across the city. So we have a few private events coming up in the future. But if you follow our Instagram at RRARE EATS Minneapolis with 2 R's, RRARE EATS Minneapolis. MPLS, you'll find all of the information you need, and we're gonna be updating it often, and it's you can find everything on there. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
That. Okay, what do you think about like the food industry in Minneapolis compared to the other cities like DC or New York? Or I mean, those are really large cities, but do you feel like we've elevated throughout the years, or do you feel like there's still a lot more room to grow? Right. What do you think about
That's a great
food?
question, Dan.
Yeah.
I think, in general, man, you see a lot of beautiful things coming up and popping up in Minneapolis right now. So I don't want to take the light from that.
Yeah.
It is a little more difficult for a person of color to kind of push through and to create a brand that can scream professionalism, but also people take serious and want to support, and that's been a big thing with RRARE EATS for me. Is like I want to make sure that people are focused on the food and not so more of the politics behind what's going on.
Right.
We want a fast casual take of East African cuisine, and we want to keep it. We want to keep it growing and evolving the menu, but we want the people to love the food. So I think. Yes, I think it's a very difficult industry everywhere.
Yeah.
Like cooking everywhere is it's not the easiest industry. It takes a lot of you have to have a lot of willpower, and you have to know what you want from it. You can't just be blatantly in the industry, because you don't want to be a 40-year-old person in the industry just working to live.
Yeah.
Make your goals and kind of figure out where you want to go. But I think there's Minneapolis right now. There's a lot of people doing some cool stuff right now, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. I asked this to like all my guests because I feel like it was just such an interesting time for all of us. But 2020, the pandemic, and the uprise, how did that affect you as a chef?
That's a great question. The restaurant that I was at, we were luckily doing takeout. So I had a job. I was, working. We were doing a lot of takeout stuff, but it also, that was a very serious, a critical point for me to kind of think about, like, what am I doing? Where am I going? So I think that year was like a very big year for RRARE EATS, because that's when I started planning. That's where I had to go from scratch and kind of figure out, like, okay, you don't want to just rely on working for another business, or you don't want to, because what if it doesn't happen, And so I started to really start sketching ideas out and plans, and I started to try to, formulate something that it can be my own. And thank God I was working through it, and I've kind of figured it out. But it was a lot of re-strategizing, and just trying to figure out, like, okay, how can you eventually create your own business so you're not nervous or in the position where you could potentially lose your job. So I think a lot of people were impacted. A lot of businesses were impacted. You saw a lot of people start that year were starting their business. It came out of nowhere, and a lot of businesses kind of flopped, and it really changed the industry. And I think with RRARE EATS, that's a big part of why I want to do the fast casual type of pop-up thing, is because we want to serve good food, but we also want people to grab it and be on the go. We want it to be sustainable, and we want to make sure that the food is good and it's
I hear you on that. Speaking of that, what's your favorite food to make, and what's your favorite food to eat? Both of you. Yeah, because I know it can be different. You could like something to make, but like something to eat better.
Right. So for me, my favorite food off the top of my head that I love making and I make all the time is classic Italian food. I love making pasta. It's just something that rolling and making your own pasta.
So you can make the homemade pasta, like
absolutely,
the noodles. Okay,
absolutely.
I just wanted to be clear. I wasn't sure if you were talking about like grabbing some pasta and boiling it.
No,
like me too.
Yeah,
a classic red sauce and you know, making your own pasta from scratch, obviously at home is awesome. And I think Italian and French cuisine for sure. But my favorite food to probably cook at this point is with RRARE EATS. It's Ethiopian food. Yeah. By far.
Yeah. What kind of Ethiopian food?
Oh man, so we're right now. I am really falling in love with the spices, and so using bitter in every way and in everything that I can. We do a braised lentil dish that we make where we use a lot of the spices. There's this cabbage, carrot, and potato dish that we use. And I love injera, so we make injera from time to time from scratch. It's very teff flour is very expensive, but we make it work. So just falling in love with the spices and the ingredients right now, and trying to discover new ways to implement it in my way and put my twist to it as much as possible. So yeah,
I want Ethiopian food so bad right now. Oh my goodness. What's your favorite food to eat?
To eat from like that he makes, or just in general?
Let's do both. What do you think is his specialty?
His specialty, he makes his injera is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if he brought it to the growth conference, but that was good. The wings as well.
We didn't get to try it. I wanted to so bad.
Yeah, we're really good. What I like to eat just in general, though, I'm same as him, pasta. You can't go wrong with pasta. Now, when I make it, though, I'm not as nice. It's not coming from scratch. It's boiling it, putting it in there.
There's nothing wrong with it. We're not pasta shaming here. It's
exactly.
Okay.
So it's more like that, but can't go wrong with pasta. Maybe a little wine. So that's how I do it.
And so you play around the kitchen too a little bit.
I try, but I'm no chef.
Yeah.
I don't got that on the title yet. But I try and mess around a little bit.
No, absolutely. So speaking about that, so when it comes to like marketing for RRARE EATS, like what are some ways that you find works these days? Do you think social media plays an important part in the restaurant or food industry?
Absolutely. Social media. You'll see like so many companies too where they're hiring influencers to like go in, make a quick TikTok or Instagram reel on it to get more people in. So the more eyeballs and engagement you can get will help. And, I'm always in his ear. And I think it helps too having like a friend that understands you and knows you, but also wants to push you, where he knows when we're connecting, there's updates, right? Like, it's not just chopping it up. It's like,
I love that.
It's like, hey, man, where are we at? And I remember he shared a story, too. Remember we were talking about the website? And he was like, oh, man, I'll get it done in like a month or something. I'm like, let's get it done this week.
We got to go now.
We can do it right now. And just urgency and action. So I would say social media is definitely a huge influence, especially when you're making food and stuff, so people can see it, get them interested, and then let them taste it. And that's 100%. All you need. That's all he needs.
100%.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure like your family's so grateful of having like a chef in the family.
Oh, man.
Especially like, it's because, like women are always in the kitchen. So they're probably like, oh, George is here. He's going to chef it up now.
But yeah, my family, they have, a very straightforward palate. So I try to push things to them to try and different things. And sometimes they're open to it, sometimes they're not. But as long as I push it out there to try, my niece now, she's the one that I'm really trying to, get all the ingredients in the food.
We always have a protege, so that's your protege.
That's my little protege. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, it's time to try this. You need to try this. Like, let's go get some sushi. She loves sushi.
Yeah.
And she's always getting out there. So, it's very important to me.
That's awesome. No, I absolutely love that. Okay, so what's one piece of advice that you would give to anyone watching this who's interested in taking a step forward in this industry, especially a young Black man? Like, what would you tell them?
Right. I think the most important thing as a young cook or someone that's just jumping into the industry is make up your mind. Make up your mind of what you want to do and plan every year. Wherever you're at, you can get, you're going to get experience, whatever situation you're in. You're going to face adversity. You're going to have to face it. Be open and be understanding, but know also when it's time to move on, and be calculated on your moves, and try to find some people that you can learn from. Try to keep yourself around people that can push you to be great and that inspire you, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Whatever industry you're in, it's like you have to look for inspiration, and you have to be an inspiration. So keep your integrity high, and set your goals and really, have like a Mamba mentality about where you're going, and make sure that you're handling business, and every year is getting better and better. Take it a day at a time, but make sure you're putting in effort every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of inspirations, is there someone that, you look up to growing up watching maybe on TV or something, or could even be someone in your family that was kind of a staple mentor in your life into this cooking thing?
So my grandfather, he wasn't a chef or anything, but he is one of the wisest men, and I'm so grateful to have him in my corner. And I've had him in my life for my whole life. He's impacted my life in major ways, and he's a stand-up. He's an honorable man, and I love him to death. And he's one of the most important people in my life. Wow. But Kobe Bryant. I mentioned Mamba mentality earlier. I think it's important for as a black man, as young people in general. Stay calculated, stay poised, and work at being great every day. That's really what it's all about. If you want to start a business, make sure you're checking things off that checklist. Make sure that if you want to learn about a cuisine, make sure you're actually putting the effort in and studying, and putting in the work and putting that pressure on your back to actually bring these things to life, and hold yourself accountable. Don't negotiate with your mind. Hold yourself accountable to what you need to do, and put your mind to it and actually do it. I think it's so important to set goals and to write, and write and read and reflect the things that you've written, and make sure that you're, trying to make a move, and, you're trying to do something. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Well, you are truly an inspiration, and I'm really excited to everything that the future is going to hold for you. I know that we're going to see RRARE EATS a lot in our community, and I'm really excited for everyone to be able to taste your food and experience, because food is an experience, you know, and I really think, especially when someone's passionate about what they do, it just makes the food taste so much better. So I can tell the difference, so that's why we always love home cooked meals more than going out to eat or something. So,
and it's the best when you can make your food from scratch at home. It's better than the restaurants.
It's really better
than
health-wise,
putting that love in
and everything, and I also think it's a great time, that you get to spend with yourself. It's almost therapeutic. I feel like when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking, it's a moment for you, and you're just going in.
Yeah, it's incredible for me. Like I said, cooking has been something that comes to me effortlessly. When you fall in love with something and you're doing something for a long time, it should come to you effortlessly. It shouldn't feel like work. And cooking doesn't feel like work for me at this point. And I'm just grateful that I found something that is sustainable, and it's a lane that I can take and pass down knowledge and inspire young people that look like me, and I think it's very important. So,
that's amazing. Do you like to clean as well? Because people that like to cook hate cleaning. And people that like to clean hate cooking.
You know what? It's a part of it.
You're a true chef.
It's a part of it.
If you really are a real chef, it's you cook and clean at the same time.
Every person that I've cooked for, and that a woman or whoever I've invited over for a dinner or something, they know that I'm doing them at the same time. And I'm trying to make sure that dishes are done right before the meal's done. So it's important to make sure you're clean and taking care of yourself in your house and wherever you're at. For sure.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on Eat and Talk today, and next time we're gonna have your food.
For sure. I'm definitely gonna bring you a plate.
Yes, definitely. Or we're gonna come to you wherever you are. So we're really excited, like I said, to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely link your Instagram and your information, RRARE EATS with 2 R's, RRARE EATS Minneapolis, MPLS. Yes. And thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us on.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
All right, peace.